Welcome to
we're on?
Welcome to the New Normal, Exploring Infinite Possibilities. I'm Renata. We're going to talk about some things to get you unstuck. And one of my favorite topics is E.F.T, Emotional Freedom Tapping.
And it is valuable for animals, plants, even my plants. I tap their pots. I tap the stick going up is what called?
Stick up their root. Stick up their root. There we go with the laugh-a-thon right away.
You can really use what Renata's talking about as an intricate tool to make your life brighter.
Let's give them a little bit of an orientation, though.
Please.
I did a taping of this like almost the beginning of the year for the Universal Life Alliance. So I did post that actually on the Awesome Awakenings Facebook page, the Universal Life Alliance Facebook page. It'll probably be on our website, on the YouTube page. But you can go look at, it's like an hour and 10-minute video on EFT. I take you through that, okay? So this today is not about all of that. I want to share a little bit more of how to tap in some good stuff. So let's make the assumption that you've tapped out stuff that doesn't work for you. And for those of you that don't know what tapping is, it's called Emotional Freedom Tapping. I'm going to move along rapidly so we can kind of get to the demos and stuff, William. I'm going to yap for a little bit. So Emotional Freedom Tapping will remove nervous energy, stuck energy out of your central nervous system. I'm talking your physical body, your energetic body. All right? So all the bodies that carry any kind of, information, we can work with those to release those. All right? And there's just a certain setup for the technique. I'm going to go over that with you. I'll probably just demo on William because he's right here. A little easier to tap on his noggin. Let's see. Emotional freedom tapping. You're going to get my version of that I learned from a woman who's a rapid eye therapist. She had her version of it. So the point of all of this sharing with you is that pay attention to the basic sequence. You can go watch the video. It's up there. And underneath, there are also 4 handouts on EFT and the placement. So what I'd like you to do with William and I in this short period of time that we have is to really just pay attention. William is really super sensitive, so if you have questions that you want to have tapped out, you just think that he'll pick that up and he'll just say that to me and we'll do a demo on those taps. Now that might not be something specific, like maybe some of you are wanting to quit smoking. I always use that because that's a really good example. So we might do that tapping, and if you are wanting to quit smoking, then you can use that tapping. Second thing, you are doing self-therapy, talk therapy. So you are talking to yourself. And when I had mentioned to William about doing EFT, he said to me, well, it got kind of confusing because I didn't know I was going to be talking to myself. I'm like, oh God, thank you for that insight, because that's pretty important. That's a big part of it. And after you've done it for a while, meaning you've entrained yourself, you don't have to say the words out loud. You don't even have to do the motions any longer. You can energetically just call up that information and do that. So we're just saying. What else is there? There's the video, there's the charts, pay attention. We're going to tap some things out, but the part I want to spend a little more time on is tapping in good stuff. Because that's like, It's a nice day today. We could tap in, it's a nice day, and we can catch the sun's out, and we can catch that the wind is on our face, and maybe we've had some good snacks. Maybe we've been with some friends. So you can tap in that energy of a good day. It's a package of energy. And you can tap it into your nervous system. You can tap it into your nervous system, and you can pull it up when you need to have that package of energy.
And that is vital. No matter what you're doing, you can pull it up again.
You can pull it up again. That's one of those things that seem to be counterintuitive. Like if you've got a problem, to solve the problem, we've been taught, pay attention to the problem. And that really is not, it's what we're saying, it's counterintuitive. No, don't pay attention to the problem. You'll get more of that problem. You'll reinforce that in your system. So what we're saying is you want to go to solution, which is to balance it out.
Perfect.
Like to kind of cancel out the one that you don't want and put in gracefully the one that you do want. And you just keep doing that and doing that.
And some of you who know me well know that without this tapping and other tools I use, I would be in a wheelchair.
You were so highly adaptable and flexible. I mean, so we should just demo the basic thing, and then we can just kind of stop and tap in and tap with people. Okay. Down the baseline. Let me show you on William what I mean when I say down the baseline. Okay. Baseline. Oh, good. This is perfect. You're right there. So top of the head. I'm at the top of his head. We're tapping. Top of the head. That's the baseline. Top of the head. And then we're tapping on, is that the noggin? That's the noggin. Okay. And there's a couple points right here, like at the top of the eyebrow. Can you see? I can see pretty good. And then there's a couple points on the side. Now I know how hairdressers feel. They're trying to look at me. I want to make sure I don't poke you in the eye. So on the side of the temple, I'm going to look this way to make sure and get both under his eyes. Okay. And then underneath the eyes. So we're along this midline. I'm just top of the head. We're tapping at right above the eyes on both sides. We're tapping on the side, temple. We're going to go down right underneath the eye. We're going to tap here. We're going to go at the mouth, underneath the nose, tap there, underneath the chin. And we're going to the collarbone, tap right here. I always come down one more on the chest a little bit. And then we can go underneath the arm. Lift your arm for me slightly. Yeah, and we're going to go underneath the arm, that tap. And you can put that one down, then we'll just up lightly underneath this other arm. However you can reach under the arm is great, you know. And if you have to just energetically think under the arm, then you can energetically think under the arm. None of this is about struggle. None of this is about pain. None of this is about trying to. This is tapping into the innate wisdom that you have. Once you have seen something, you have the spiritual intelligence to adapt it to make it work for you.
I want to interrupt because
please, sure.
I was just going to ask you to make a comment about that because there's someone out there, male,
Okay.
who said, he can't do certain things with his arms. Good
Good
And
point,
so this
William.
is good, so thank you. You're
No,
giving
no.
this man a good point of encouragement. He can do it from his mind.
Yes, because
Beautiful.
so often, we've learned to cancel that out when you say that. But if we can become even more flexible at just allowing ourselves to be more fluid, so we don't have to back out of stuff so much, right? Like, oh, I can do just about anything. That's actually a tap that I want to show you as soon as we go down these points. Let's get the points done. So it's under the arms, and then we're just going to come down by the belly button, somewhere around there, okay? And then we're going to go the symphysis pubis. I'm all technical about that. Right at the groin area. You're going to tap on both sides. So there are points that go all the way down the front of the body. We're going to work all those. If you study traditional Chinese medicine, then we've got the stomach points all the way down, at least to there. These points here are called K27. So when your body has been working overtime, things start to go backwards. Working these points, a little extra tidbit, allows your body to realign itself and go forward with your intention. That's pretty powerful. So we're tapping. You've got the basic idea. You got the basic idea, William? Okay. So let's let our people get the basic idea. Find the points on your head, tap. And then we're going to, so you can see how it looks like when you do it yourself. William's doing it in his mind's eye. He doesn't have to. He's entrained himself just to call it forward. So you're going to look like this. You're going to look like this. You're gonna look like this. You're gonna look like this, like this, like this. Sometimes you can go like this, woo, to catch both, okay? Like here, right above the breastbone. And I'm gonna go just all the way down the midline. That's the easy way to make sure you do that. So let's do it again. Let's add a little bit of rhythm to it, because it's the rhythm, it's the cadence. You can even have some music. I love that. So that you will remember that, and you will tap in deeper if you have a connection with it. And movement, hence tapping, and rhythm makes a connection, okay? So let's just have a little upbeat tap, and let's tap in something fun. All right, I'm gonna show you how to do that. So we're gonna acknowledge we would like some fun, and we're gonna tap more fun in. Here's how your statement goes. Even though today seems kind of boring, I'm really not having much fun. Kind of sad, slow day. You know what though? I could, we're gonna come back up here. I could make some funny faces in the mirror. And that can make my day a little more fun. I don't know, maybe. I'm gonna come back up here. Now, you know what? I'm thinking it's not a fun day, but oh, my big bangs are in my face now. I can't see anything. Oh, we're tapping here. Oh, I forgot what it was. What kind of day is it? Oh, it's a pretty good day, is it? Yeah, it's a pretty good day. So that's an idea of showing you what happens when you start with the story and you get a rhythm, you get in the zone with your rhythm and you stop thinking. And so you're not even in control of the words that come out. You have a basic intention, and so all of your cells and atoms have gotten your basic attention because you set that intention, right? It's your work. You set that intention. You have to keep thinking about it. Let the story that's stuck unfold and flow out of every place it's stuck. Trust me, that's what this does. You don't have to trust me. But check this out. So, here's one more point that we're going to add. We did down the midline ones on William. You got all those. This is called the karate chop. So we've got the small finger side on the palm, hence karate chop. Okay. So you could just karate chop, knowing that you're accessing all of this, but you're just doing it this way. Because this is just what works for you. You can just karate chop. Okay? You're good. I want to reiterate, you can work all the points, or you can do the karate chop. You can work the points and the karate chop. You can just think about the points, or think about the karate chop. See how you have some leeway? Let's do this one right now, because I can just hear William saying, you know, a lot of people think you're crazy, but they don't really believe what you're saying. Show them something that they could use right now. Okay, so I'm
Working with Renata is so much fun.
let me get these bangs. Like, this camera is a different way. Okay, we're good. So even though you're not really sure about this technique, that's the doubt, isn't it? That's the part you want us to prove to you that this really works. So let's start with the statements you want to embrace. Even though I think this is a bunch of hooey, okay? That's the one. Even though I think this is a bunch of hooey, I'm going to check it out. Let's go with that, okay? Even though this tapping thing seems like a bunch of hooey, like, I don't see how any of that works at all. I don't see how you can just tap and then get years of trauma and stuck emotions out of your body. I really don't get how this woman's like really nuts. Although, you know, God, I have been going to a therapist for a long time. And I do feel better, you know, when we engage in several things like some movement, some memory association, some, you know, then she's got gives me some water, and then I like lay, and you know what though? I don't know. I'm just open at least. Okay. I want you to notice how you are when you start and begin and how you shift throughout, and when you decide to end. All of this is about you noticing your dance in life and the stories that work for you for a time, and the stories that no longer actually work for you. And so you leave this big vacuum, right? And you got to fill that in. That's why I'm going to spend more time on tapping in some good stuff and showing you how to do that, versus belaboring the issue of the issues in the tissue, all the things that have happened to you in this lifetime and many lifetimes. And there's lots of techniques out there to delete across all storylines and all realities and all dimensions. You know, that's what we're talking about, deleting stories that destroy you and not ones that destroy you. Notice that difference? There's ones that destroy you, and there's ones that allow you to be the creator in your life, and you can de-story. You can just deconstruct it and build again. You don't have to let your old perceptions and belief tear your life down and destroy your life. And a lot of us have that lens that's hard to let go of. You know, that's what we mean. That's what we mean by stuck. So talk therapy is fabulous, but then when you're done and you've reached that plateau, maybe you don't always need to go back and do that. Maybe you can become your own self-talk therapist. That's the idea of mastery and discipline. Not struggle and pain, mastery and discipline. Yeah. And it can be fun. I suppose that's why I'm going to start. Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah, because it needs to be fun. Kind of like a game. You remember musical chairs when you were little? Do you remember musical chairs? Did you play that one?
Yes.
Yeah. I remember that. I always would end up with the chair because I had really long legs. So I would kind of push people off, but that was a fun memory. What's another fun thing when you were little? Because we're going to tap in, so let's pull up a couple fun things. I remember running in the sun. Oh, there we go. I got those bangs out of my face. Running in the sun, riding a bike. That was fun.
And find what was fun for you.
Yeah, pull up a few right now. Pull it right now. This is an interactive pull up some.
One of my fun things was climbing a maple tree in my front yard with my German Shepherd.
Ooh, I kind of saw that maple tree, or a little bit of that energy.
And the shepherd would learn to climb the tree with me. And so we'd climb and we'd be up there and talking, visiting. And when I'd climb down, he couldn't climb down, so he just took a deep breath and rolled down and fell.
And then you had some more memories and some more laughter.
Exactly.
You know what's so interesting though? Once you've been around someone for a long time, I really could see that whole image, like it was a little dreamscape of you doing that with, with your dog.
The big
you were
dog,
talking.
yeah.
That we all have to do. That's called truth, huh?
Yes.
That's
And
called
everything
truth.
is, as someone here said, everything is energy and it's recorded in your being.
So when you think about somebody, I'm digressing but not really, when you think about somebody way off in the future, you're there with them.
Absolutely. There is no time, no space.
Yeah, there's no time or space. That's why this is so powerful right now, and I'm kind of excited to share it with you and kind of drive home that it's a really valuable tool because it's so adaptable. So anyhow, and then, when you're like, grooving on the past, what do I say? It kind of kicks your butt, right? I use the rhyming word, but nonetheless, when you do that, you're back there with that pain and grief.
Interruption time.
Oh, good. I love it.
When I was in a coma for quite a while, people said my brain was totally inactive. But I would use similar techniques as the tapping while I was in the coma. I remember doing it.
Interesting.
So there is no limitation unless you accept it. They said, you can't. I said, watch me.
I mean, once I learned that we could borrow benefits from others, I said that really fast. Excuse me. Once I learned that we could borrow benefits from
Yes.
others.
Yes.
We didn't have to reinvent the wheel. It just took a little bit of me having a little more confidence in that. And then I tweak all kinds of stuff all the time, just because that works for Renata in her world. And I'm wanting to encourage you to find things that you can tweak that work for you in your world.
Yes.
Because, you know, there is no time and space, and there are a multitude of realities. And I must say, you need to be the star in your own reality. I mean, that's where I go with verse, huh? And we, you know, I give you permission to. I know you totally give people permission to, you know, love yourself more, share more of who you are, be who you are. And sometimes it's just a challenge for us to be who we are because we're busy, you know, reflecting and deflecting back things that we don't like, that we see.
Again, she's not going to invite me back. No, I'm teasing.
You're a perpetual guest. You're good.
The thing is, when you're told something and you believe it, you're not going to use a technique like this because you don't subconsciously want to release it.
Yeah, and that's...
So you have to use this to open your consciousness to allow yourself to see you can change.
They say ignorance is bliss. And that's such, you know, I love that saying. And it's so true. And you don't have to evolve. You don't have to do anything. You came here, you're good. That could be like maybe your whole stance and purpose.
I understand.
You know? So you don't have to do any of this. But while you're checking it out, you know, you may want to grab a hold of it because there may be somebody around you that really could just thrive as a result of just getting rid of that one little smear that they just keep pulling forth all the time, every lifetime, you know, every reality, just that little bit of a thing. You know, those things like abandonment, some of those
Yes.
old scripts, you know, abandonment, not good enough. Anybody got those going on?
Well, and I like that concept. It's so important to remember, yes, in 1942, the World War II was still going. So people who dwell on that now, 21, say, is it happening now? And I learned that years ago.
You did.
And remind yourself, yes, that is an old memory, but it doesn't mean you have to focus on it. Yes, it was terrible. I was alive during that time, I know. But I remind myself that difficulty, it's not happening today.
And so when that pops up for you or whatever, and you know that little tapping technique, and so let's just
Yes,
let's
exactly.
do the karate chop here. It's like, you know, even though I dearly miss my mom passed away, I dearly miss my mom and my dog. Yeah, I could almost like maybe cry. No, not really, because I got these memories in there. If I can just pull those up about, you know, little funny things my mom, her name is Beanie, would say, you know. I can see her smile. And in fact, in many dreams, you know, over time, I've seen her up level and see, I can even, you know, it's gone. So that's what I'm saying about when something comes up, and I've worked with a lot of these, so there was nothing there. I didn't feel like I wanted to cry over my mom or my dog because I've done some tapping many, many times over that whole thing. But I'm saying to you, though, if there's some grief that's really new for you in your life, you know, and you've done the grief counseling, and you're taking your herbs, or you're taking your, you know, relax, chill pill, whatever that is, and you just get in a situation and you're in the middle of it, and this just comes, just grabs you. You know how that is sometimes, where it's just intense, and you know, even though this is hard, I really do feel that. It's like, see, we're tapping that through, you know, and if you can go through the whole thing, get that little noggin there, this is like really a challenging time for me. I didn't anticipate any of this would happen to me. I'm so pissed that they left me. Let that story do something different, because it will. It'll transform to something different. You don't have to tap out every single emotion, but you have to tap out the root of it. And that's what this will let you do if you stay with it and if you make it your own. I was never good at borrowing other people's stuff because I lose myself in it.
Sure.
So what I figured out is, you can learn other people's stuff, but you have to make it your own. You can memorize this in its entirety. We've got the video. You can watch that a bunch of different times. We got the tapes, the handouts. And there's several E.F.T. Videos and experts out there that you can take some classes. I chose not to do that. I just chose to evolve it and see if it worked for me, and it does. And I've showed it to other people. I've done tapping on people as they've cleared themselves and tears start rolling out of their eyes because I'm stirring things up for them. They got the memory. I'm just helping to assist them. And stuff comes up and they're like, wow, that was amazing. Thank you. So that's why I think it's so important to show people how to do that for themselves, because sometimes it's not a big thing, but it's a thing that can throw you off. Like you have a bad hair day. I don't allow bad hair days anymore because I have too many different wigs and looks. I'm good. But every now and then I attempt to go there just because I want to be whiny about something. And like, really, Renata, go for it, whine, girl. So I allow myself just to go, have that talk. You can do that as well with tapping. I'm so sick of this hair all the time, doing the same thing. It just makes me, however you want to do that punching bag. But I know the end result is that you don't hold that energy in your system anymore. And guess what? That makes more room for expansion.
And for the new to come in.
And that's the whole point.
Yep.
I mean, that's the whole purpose, isn't it? To allow the newness. So, we're always talking about flexibility, allow, we make words up. I know a lot of you that are following us make words up too.
Yep.
I found myself lately saying that F word so much that I got to make up a new word for it.
Yes.
Because it gets old even hearing that, So it's like sometimes maybe just facial expressions are good.
I know a lady in England, a very well-known actress, and that particular word is one of her favorite. And she said, now that I'm old, I can say it when I feel like it.
Okay, I like that. I mean, one of my fun sayings is like, well, you don't need me to tell you what to do. You didn't get to be 81, not knowing your way in life. And if you were lost, you certainly found your way now, So, but you do get a sense sometimes that people need a little smiley word or a little hug or something. And so, I'm the kind that I'm kind of, I'll go over there and make my way in and make a little joke or something. A lot of us healy, kind of feely people are that way.
And sometimes you can do it without being there physically.
Yes, I was hoping you would open that door.
Yep.
Because a lot of the tools that we're talking about, while they have some, A, B, C, Ds to them, all of them are adaptable.
Nothing is static.
Even when it looks like things are just repeatable, on end, ad nauseum, like the story that we got going on out there with all the oppression. Let's tap. That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm gonna tap on my head because you know what? This little narrative about the COVID and the distancing and the mandate on the vaccines, and it could just get me on my soapbox and I could just be in someone's face all the time and just be angry about how dare this happen? How dare people not speak up? How dare our government be this way? How dare people even think they can have control over you? And I'm about to laugh because, I've worked on this one a lot because it, in and of itself, having a diaper or a muzzle on my face just totally has thrown me off balance this past year and a half. And I've missed being able to talk to people and to hug them and to be close to them. And I've missed that air of freedom that I did and have not felt for a while because there's been so much of an overlay in fear. So I guess my tap now would be, even though there's still a lot of fear out there. I'm not holding any of it. And when it does pop up, I'm going to let that go. Because I know it feels much better to be joyful and laugh about anything and everything that I possibly can right now to shift my energy and to shift everybody else that's hanging out with me in arm's distance and across the water. I know that's my power. What about you? See how that story changed? I went from COVID overlay and how I hate that story to, ooh, wow, we're powerful divine beings that can project energy across the water, and that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a powerful divine being. I can project energy across the water. I don't even need to see you. Ooh, do I believe that? I do believe that 1,000%. I actually do. But if you don't believe that, tap that in so you can believe that. That's what I'm talking about. If someone challenges you, then embrace the challenge. Embrace the challenge to go to solution. I am scared as heck to learn how to swim. I still don't know how to swim. I've drowned in a couple different lifetimes, and I still don't know how to swim. I'm going to give up trying to not be scared as heck about swimming. That's what I did. Like, yep, and you'll probably have to face that sometime one day if you go in the water and don't know how to swim or not. Yep, and I think I'll be okay with that. That's how I dealt with that. It's like, just embrace that and laugh at yourself as much as you can.
That's a big one. Learn to laugh at yourself. Everyone else does.
Learn to laugh at yourself. Well, learn to laugh with yourself. That's always kind of fun because it gets kind of lonely a little bit.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? Doesn't it? And I think you've probably been the hugest lesson for me about appreciating having your own space where it's sacred and not really inviting other people's opinions in. You know, and it's a delicate balance when you're a healer and a counselor. But I get that. I get how important that is to really own your space.
Yes.
And that's really what that is when you're that way. And I've come to respect that, and I've come to take some of that on myself because it feels nurturing to where I'm at right now in my life.
And all of you, own who you are. Don't compare yourself to other people. Remember, what's happening today, it is not going to be happening tomorrow. Good or not good. What's over at the end of the day, it's over.
Mm-hmm. See, that's a little quick tap as you're like finishing
That's right.
the day. It's like, I'm so glad this day is over. If it never repeats again, I'll be happy.
And it can't repeat again.
Uh-huh. Never exactly the same, even though it may look like same
Perfect.
car, same house, different energy. And when you start to pick up on that, for me, there seems to be a greater appreciation for the mundane and a greater appreciation for understanding how someone can see beauty in life every day and not be able to, move around in ways that are obvious.
And you've heard Renata and I talk about we're building a new future. Learning these techniques, learning these ideas will help create a new future for the next generations, where they won't have to go through many of the emotional turmoils that we've all had.
Roller coaster.
But for some, they will have trauma because they need it on a soul level.
And that clears the slate in a lot of ways when you start to think that you're not responsible.
That's right.
Because there was a part of me, I can just use me as a reference, so I'm good, that used to think I needed to solve everybody else's problem. Anybody else out there like that?
Hundreds.
Mm-hmm. That you think you had to solve other people's problem. And so energetically, I would be in your business rather quickly. And I could feel...
That can be very offensive.
It can be very offensive. Like, I've learned some great lessons from you because it's energetically I would creep in, and energetic you'd say, whoa, back out. butt heads. And then like, oh, you did that again. And it just takes a while for someone to mirror that for you, for it to be mirrored for me to understand that. And now that I understand that more, like I respect that. I did a tap with that one a while ago. Let's see, it was, even though I am so aware of everybody's energy and all that stuff all the time. And I came up with, at the end of tapping 3 or 4 times, none of it's mine. That was the tap. So even though I'm aware of everybody's energy all the time and think I need to do something about it, wow, I remind myself that's not even mine.
Okay, now you just opened the door for me.
Well, I hope you don't do it.
I have a friend who's also a client, and she needed to embrace that kind of thinking that you're describing. The only thing that she's gained so far to do it is, without using the words, be the observer, not the participant. She has to build the energy of what belongs to you, not me. So then she conveyed that energy into her body that she was observing, and if they had a problem, they had to find a solution.
Well, they had to ask her.
Oh, that's a different issue.
They had to ask her. Yeah, and that was kind of just that generic tap with that intention allowed me to catch every time I would do that because I feel uncomfortable.
Sure.
And then I could oh, there you are again. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And then my tap is just, oh, I'm so glad you're aware of everything. No, that's a good thing, but no, that's yours. Boom. So you kind of like blow it up. So we want you to blow up some things without, violence.
Yeah, non-violent, yes.
Non-violent blowing up. Blow up your old emotions that are stuck. I said earlier, the issue is in the tissue. I don't know where I heard that from, but that certainly makes sense. Because we can ruminate about something that happened to us, and I'm not saying that there haven't been, travesties to people, soul growth or not. You look at that and go, wow, that's deep. I mean, there's a lot of that going on. But what I am saying is that when you decide on whatever level that it's time to up level and move forward, you do. With the technique, without a technique, with the core intention, you do. So you may not need any of this. However, if you do, you can watch the video. We just modeled that for you. We spent maybe a good half an hour talking about that and clearing some different things via demonstration. But if that resonated with you, it's good. You can take that and use that. So what would I leave for homework? Write down some really fun statements and tap those in.
Good.
And if you can nuggetize the ones that feel heavy on you, like my big one is, I never gave myself an opportunity to speak, to be heard. Imagine that. Look how I look and how I am. Like, really, Renata? Yeah, there was a little lack of self-confidence underneath, a bit of not feeling I was worthy, whatever. So that's a big nugget, not feeling that you're worthy. I worked with that one every time it came up, and I would tap, And now it's just you can blow things up. You can, I can shift the story almost instantly. But that's like a lifestyle choice for me. Like a lot of people that choose to take the information and integrate it into their life to make it better. That's a lifestyle choice.
Yes.
That's if you're starting to compare yourself, that would be the only difference between me and you at this moment. It's just how I do my life. But you too could decide that you don't want to go, all that time to get rid of things. You can borrow benefits just by watching the news and going, well, that is just a really horrible feeling. Let me make sure I never, ever participate in that again in my life.
Good.
Because that's what you say about stuff. It's like, sometimes people act out in front of you just so you can go like, let me not do that one again.
I was taught as a child, love everyone's right to be. But there are times you don't like what they're being, so you don't invite them into your home, your physical body.
That's a big one.
Big, 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 but it works.
It does. And then how often do we invite them in and don't know? That's where we get the nightmares and all that
But
stuff.
that's also where we use that technique that you've been teaching to be the observer. They come into our home by invitation. When we have an alliance meeting, we invite everybody in. We don't have to enjoy having them there, but we don't need to confront them.
Okay. There is always a fine line with confront and tactfulness. I'm learning where my line is with that, you know?
That's something we're all learning, because yes, we have opinions. I recently was confronted, and the opinion was so emotionally hurtful, and the person didn't intend it. So we have to go beyond emotional interaction and feel communication, not just say it.
Yeah, so like the words, the words are the words, okay. But you feel the intention with it. Like young kids, how they kid around and say things like, oh, you look sick. Like, excuse me? Oh, no, that means you look really good. That's nice. Or the other one that was so odd, oh, you look bad. Look bad for days. And that meant good. There's something in the slang of language where we do that. But you get that. You know, you hang around the culture. You get when you were teaching, you probably heard some slang that you like wasn't sure what it was. But then it's like, oh, no, you're cool. You're hip. Yeah, so it's all about the context of where you're growing up and where you're at.
And that's part of why I teach listening to and participating in your five senses.
Yes.
So that you can feel what's being projected. And not saying, oh, that person over there, I love them because of the way they look. Love them because of what they energy project.
Well, and then sometimes use that person over there and God, they look so nice, but I just wouldn't get really close to them. I would just stay
Exactly,
I would just
that's
stay
it.
right over here and just smile. How are you? As you can feel the energy a mile away.
Exactly.
So we're what this is all about is just owning your right to be free, owning your right to be happy, owning your right to be joyful. Notice I say owning your right to be.
Perfect statement.
Because that means that you choose that. Sometimes you come in just so you can choose something different.
Okay, now it's time to interrupt. Commercial time.
Okay. We should do because we got a couple things coming up tomorrow.
Yes.
All right, drum roll. If you go to the universallifealliance.org, that is the website for the Universal Life Alliance. Oh, how nice is that up across the screen? And if you scroll down not too far, you will see our upcoming event. We have a monthly gathering. It's going to be at Anita Burton's house. And we are doing rock painting. It was Anita's idea, and at the board meeting it sounded fun. And I even posted a little video of her showing that she prepared the rocks for us and we're going to paint them. So we're all going to be in for a surprise. It'll be fun because Miss Anita has got people in her neighborhood excited and they don't know anything about Tula.
Yeah, and that's coming tomorrow.
That's tomorrow, the 18th.
Yep.
And it's from 3 to 7. So if you call Tula, you can do a 253-433-8589. But if you just go to the universallifealliance.org under events, she's got that up there. We're so savvy. We got our website and our phone number. We can get you connected with Anita, and our next one is also on that flyer. It's the 18th, and we're going to do, kind of for the holidays, 14-point dressing system. Guess who has that? That's me. But it's just a fun little way to connect and, do some little foofy with the clothes and the hair for guys and women and children, whoever's going to be there. And again, Anita's going to host that at her house. And then we have my multidimensional aromatherapy class coming
Now
up.
that is very important.
I know it's December. It's going to be December 20th, I believe it is, a Saturday.
Well, that's not what's on the flyer.
Oh yeah, that there is two. Yeah, it's good. We don't have the flyer in front of us, but if you go to the Facebook page, you'll be able to see the dates. So.
And it's not just about aromatherapy. This is another tool to improve your life physically, mentally, and spiritually. And whether you will believe me or not, I don't really care. Spirituality isn't just what you do in a church or a temple.
Yeah.
It's not just what you use with your psychic abilities. Spirituality is having fun, having joy, and that is so important.
Like we said,
Because then it
lifestyle.
teaches other people.
Lifestyle. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yes, there was a class that I had, the multidimensional aromatherapy, on the 13th, which is last Saturday, and there's another one this Saturday coming up. Those have not filled up, so there's still space for the one this Saturday. Then the one in December is whatever day we have on the flyer. That's what. Thank you for that clarification. You got anything you want to add?
Just make sure each of you contribute to the lifestyles of other people by how you live.
Yeah.
Celebrate your life.
Yeah.
Go out and help the dogs, help the cats, help the trees, help clear the atmosphere. You say, well, what can I do as an individual? There's lots we can do. People come into my home and they say, can I turn the lights on? It's dark in here. I said, no, you can't.
I know that's one of your things.
Oh, yeah. And she didn't know what to do.
I know. It's totally what? What?
It's her building and she manages it. And yet I said, no, you can't turn the lights on. Then it came out later she thought I meant because of the electric bill. No. It's about preserving energy, erasing the carbon footprints we leave. Yes. And everyone can do a little teeny bit, and then it becomes monumentous.
And if you tie your intention with you make a double imprint. So I'm saying, fill up your intention and do it really well. I'm not a big recycler, but ever since I started creating aromatherapy blends and multidimensional blends, I recycle every single friggin' bottle. That's just my contribution. I feel really good about that.
Yes.
I do. I stockpile a bunch of them. And now that I do the structured water, I save every single wine bottle, but I did throw some away the other day. But I do.
And by the way, her structured water has been such a gift to my stability.
That's nice, William. Thank you.
No, it's the truth.
Thank you for that. Thank you for
You're
that.
welcome.
Yeah, and that's something that we can all do. You've got children or you've got, parents or whatever. You can spread the love in your family first by being sincere with your intentions. If you're not a family that says, I love you, then maybe randomly go up and just tell your mom, Mom, you know what? I love you.
But like the structured water, I use it, mixing it with regular water to water my plants.
Oh, yeah, I give the structured water to plants, too.
I use that mineral, what?
Magnesium.
Magnesium.
You do?
I spray my plants. They're growing wild. They love it.
They do, and they're kind of unseasonally growing, too. Like, they're still growing. And
Oh,
they
yeah.
They shouldn't be growing. What does that mean?
My housekeeper, she trimmed a plant because it was dead. And I went out and sprayed it with the magnesium. It's growing again.
I mean, part of the whole magnesium thing is like when we used to, have more earth-conscious ways of farming, then we didn't deplete the soil.
Exactly.
There's a lot out there about that one. I mean, even just rotating the topsoil a little bit and adding some nutrients to it reduces the carbon footprint because it draws down the carbon.
Sure.
But then we've got so many things backwards that,
Sideways.
Yeah, I'm saying all of us, because we've all
Oh, yeah.
participated in some kind of way by either, not saying something, or just turning our head, not seeing it. And you do that or not hearing it over a period of, or not hearting it, that's it, over a period of time, what happens?
And it's also that people say, I'm just one person, it doesn't matter.
Right, and that's
BS.
BS. That's it. That's BS. To think that you do not matter is like the biggest over wool pulling thing that those that control our planet have done. To say you don't matter. Stick with the protocol. Well, you know what I say to that?
So it does matter.
You absolutely matter.
So there.
I want to make a fashion note. This red sweater is just amazing on your skin. And what's also amazing about you, William, is you're 81, you don't have any wrinkles. I mean, you've got a couple.
Of course.
Couple. But when I look at you, I'm like, well, look at his hands. He's not all wrinkly. And by most standards, fair skin, you know what I'm saying, little wrinkly man, that is not the case. And this red just like really highlights you more.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
When I think of many of my ancestors who became wrinkly, old, whatevers, years younger than I am now.
I know.
And they didn't go through comas and injuries and...
It's all an inside job, isn't it? It's all an inside job. It really is. And we have so many things to choose to up-level ourselves. You can choose not to be upset with yourself when you make a mistake.
There are no mistakes.
No.
And so, any of you, if you're going through a trauma and you don't find your own answer, call Renata, call William. That's part of what we do at the Alliance, is encourage people to find how to shift their energy.
So, you can go to our site and see that, we offer up our services and all of that, but it's not so much about that. If you come to one of our gatherings and you have a little bit of a challenge, or you say, Renata, I saw that, E.F.T thing, will you go over it again with me real quick just to make sure I understand?
Exactly.
You betcha.
The gatherings are an opportunity to share.
Yeah, but if you don't say anything and you don't ever show up, then you're just left in your isolation.
Yes.
And and again, that's a choice, but I guess what we're encouraging people to do is just to allow yourself to come out and unfold. Allow yourself to be surprised by you. I mean, we're amazing. Once given the tools and the support, we're amazing human beings. That's why some want to control us so much. We are amazing. We just forget sometimes.
Yeah. Well, we're putting that in your face a lot.
Yeah, we are. I love your laugh. I should tape that.
Okay.
In your next book, you should have a little button where they can hear you laugh.
I've got a book that I'm supposed to be working on, but I don't even have the outline yet.
Okay. Well, you guys you work pretty interestingly, though, and you've got, how many have you done so far? 35? 33. So this is 34?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Actually, just the other day, I do all those sayings and stuff, and I've got the deck of cards of the saying. I just, the other day, thought, well, you could ad-lib a little bit more on what your sayings are and make it into a book. So I sat down and did the ones, the two, all that down to the 9s, and I'm on 2. I even did some artwork.
Something I haven't even told you, I haven't told anyone yet. One of the hesitations on this book is I've told the publisher I won't work with you unless you make sure it's published in English too.
Oh, good for you.
And they are raising...
Oh, good for you. We so need to have your work over here. I mean, I love your deck of cards that we have, and every now and then I'll do a little reading thing and I'll post it so that, people over in Japan can kind of see the little deck. But yeah, that is the deal. That'd be nice as that happens. As that unfolds, that'll be nice. Notice the choice of words, not when that happens, as that happens,
yes,
as that unfolds.
Because there might be somebody out there who says, well, I know a publisher who might be interested.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important for us to get out, not so much in mass, like a big party hoorah, but, go to your family and friends.
That's
hang
right.
out like you did, and hang out even with more intention now, Because you know that actually it's kind of a threat to people when you unify. Go ahead and unify. Get together. Hug on each other. Love on each other. Go ahead and smile. Go ahead and
So
touch
it's
each other.
hug time because we're
It's
over
hug time.
time.
I know. It is. It is. Laka, 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 laka. Ooh.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh, one more note. Your hands are cold. So my dress has the back out a little bit, and I stood up to get William tea, and he's like, "Aren't you cold?" And I'm like, "No." And then I'm like, well, actually, this morning when I pulled it out, I did notice that. Thought, well, I'm okay. I'm not going to be outside. I got my fur vest on. But dang, your fingers are cold.
My hands are always cold.
Are they always cold? Okay. Well, we said goodbye, so I guess we have to go now, huh?
Okay, see you tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
See you at the gathering. See you passing on the street. Go in peace.
Unless they throw a water balloon.
Yeah.
And keep tapping.